Good evening, Gonzo. How is one?
I'm very, very well, heartily well, as some might say. Thank you, Geo. Yourself?
Very warm. It's very warm up here the last couple of days.
Surely not. It's snowing, sleet, hailstones in
It
Scotland.
was snowing 2 weeks ago, actually. We had a little bit of snow 2 weeks ago. I'm not being funny, it was. But it's sort of creeping up to mid-20s up here at the minute, and I am not coping. My Scottish skin is not coping with it very well. It's gone from snowing to too hot like that, and just like that, the season's finished. We'll start with a quick season evaluation, if you like, because when we do the questions on Twitter and YouTube and stuff before the show, a lot of people have said, "What did you make of the season overall?" A broad question, but what did you make of the season overall?
We started badly. I think we all thought, hold on a second, what's going on here? We've spent all this money. We've got this new manager in. He picked it up, and we got some results. Started to I think he was unlucky. I think a lot of it. I think he had one playmaker for much of the time, which was Anderson. A lot of the creative burden fell on Anderson. So there was a lot of times that these foreign players need a little while to settle. He didn't get that luxury. I certainly did. There's a lot of people in Pellegrini's team who probably didn't want there, and we'll see it more in his image next season. But he pulled things around a little bit, and I think in terms of league position, I thought we'd finish. I think I said in our prediction video at the start of the season, I think I said 11th in our one. I said 13th in another one. But so 10th, that was about par for the course. I thought we did reasonably well there and got a more entertaining brand of football. I really enjoyed, particularly the last few games, really enjoyed watching us. So that was, I don't know, to rate it a B minus, a C plus, something like that. The cup run was an F or something. I thought we got that horribly wrong, tinkering with the team for Wimbledon. But all in all, a positive performance, a positive first season.
Yeah, Cup definitely effed that up, didn't we? But no, I'm very happy actually. I just wanted to see more attacking football. I think we've seen it. I know a couple of months ago someone asked that sort of brainstorming question: is it not a little bit boring sometimes? And it made you think. It made you think. Actually, there has been some games it was a little bit boring during the January sort of February time. It was a little bit, we're sort of going through the motions. But overall, now I know we had a one drink too many after the.
We can't even remember. That's how many drinks we had. You can't even remember when we had the drinks. A game.
Who did we play?
Come on, don't be ridiculous.
Southampton, right. After the Southampton game, I said on the review, I don't normally watch a review, but I watched that one. That was entertaining.
I didn't.
I said in it that the difference for me between last season and the season before and this season, I went into every single game with hope, and I stand by that. And I think that's the best way I can sum it up. And we've not really had our pants pulled down this season, but I put that down to the keeper more than Pellegrini's tactics. I mean, the keeper still made the most saves in the Premier League, and while you can applaud Fabianski for that, it's a little bit concerning that we are conceding the most shots in the league, if you like, more than Huddersfield. It's not good, but Pellegrini's never been able to field his strongest 11 until the last game of the season. And even then, I think he would have still liked to have Yarmolenko possibly in there. But that's still partly his fault. It was him that signed Jack Wilshere. So you can't sign Jack Wilshere and then go, oh, well, Jack Wilshere got injured for the season. Well, yeah, but there was clues that it might have happened. So you can't play victim. And I think he's got off with that a little bit. I think too many people have said, oh, he's been unlucky with injuries. And he has to an extent, but also I do think he is to blame. The Lanzini one's obviously literally nothing his fault. And he is unfortunate for that. But you can't bring in, say, Nasri, for example, who he's not played football for 18 months, but even previous to that, he was still missing at least a third of a season at Sevilla and Man City, etc. You can't bring him in and then sort of complain he's injured all the time. Well, yeah, but he was injured all the time before you signed him. So I don't really give him the whole injury card, but I don't think he needs it, in my opinion, because I think we did well to finish 10th. Football's been good. And I remember in the review with Charlie after the Watford game, I said, Charlie, the difference between this and a year ago we were going in and saying we need major work in this summer and we're worried, etc. This summer is complete opposite. We don't need major work. We need a couple of tweaks here and there. And we're going into it organised, quite calm, probably with a plan. I mean, 12 months ago, we were saying David Moyes must not get a new contract. So that's the point we were a year ago. It's moved on massively. But Pellegrini, are you happy so far?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, really happy with him, mate.
Likewise. Well, there's plenty of transfer talk. This show is going to be quite chunky because there's a lot of bits and pieces to get through, so the flow might not be there. But Nasri, his contract's up. A few months ago, you said you definitely give him a new one. I assume you've changed your mind.
I do love to change my mind, Geo, and I reserve the right to do
you're
so.
quite entitled to, because a few months ago he was looking good, etc. But now he's looking broken.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd be silly to stick to your guns on that one. Maybe it was just too long. The ban for whatever it was it a doping issue? Can't remember now. But whatever it was, whatever he was banned for, maybe at his time of life, and clearly he's not my age, but maybe at his time of life in the latter years of his professional career, maybe it's just too big a gap to have to skip that much, and then to think that you can get back to fitness without pre-season. For us to make it permanent, we're still gambling. We're gambling that actually what's wrong is the lack of a pre-season warm-up. Well, what if it's not? What if it's something else? So I would leave it, mate, definitely.
Well, to be fair, he was here 6 weeks before he got his contract, so he technically had a pre-season, and his 18 months was a ban, not an injury, so there's no reason he couldn't be keeping himself in ship shape. And if players these days have contacts where they can, you usually go to their former club, if you like, and take and train. Man City probably aren't so accommodating, where they're probably thinking, well, no, because we've won a major professional one. It's not like West Ham with Carlton Cole, who's training to get a new club. We can go, yeah, and you come, you can make up numbers and training, whatever, and you pop. So it's a bit different. I don't know, let Nasri off with that. You had a ban, not an injury. There's no reason you should be that unfit. And then he had a 6 weeks training with us. He's just injury prone. That's all he is. He's just broken. It was worth the risk. We were desperate at the time. We had no money. He was free. We took him in. And to be fair, even the couple of games he did turn up, he looked bloody good and he affected the games massively. So, I mean, you could probably say, well, he was maybe worth, even if he's just worth one league position to us, we got enough points in that time. You could argue he paid his own wages, if you like, by moving us up the table that one space. Was he paid £2 million? Probably. It wouldn't be much more than that. So I'd say it was sort of worth the risk, pays itself. Do you want to talk about outgoings or incomings first? Apart from
I don't care, mate. You lead the way.
Well, Adrian and Carroll's obviously said goodbye. They're off skis. Reece Oxford is finally looking like he's going to get his permanent move to Germany, to the club he's on loan at, Augsburg, for about £3 million. It's not much, but they probably paid a loan fee, so it would probably come to about £5 million or something. So he looks like it's finally going to be done. There's not much other talk in terms of outgoings, except a strange one over the last couple of days was Masuaku being linked to Dortmund and Spurs. Why are you smiling?
Well, that's clearly rubbish, isn't it?
Well, I think Masuaku was smiling like that as well when he's seen
Yeah,
it.
well, he'll be smiling. It ain't going to happen, Arthur. I'm afraid to say for you, my old son. He's not a Champions League level, is he? Let's be perfectly honest. And they're Champions League clubs, as much as saying one of them's a Champions League club sticks in the throat a little bit. I can't see that. Having said that, I think he finished the season quite strongly for us. But it's that same old with Masuaku. When he hasn't got to defend, he can be quite decent going forward. He can carry you up the pitch. He can gain territory, as I like to say in a game. But he goes to sleep. I think he knows how to defend. I think he understands the concept of marking. I think it's an intelligence thing. I just think he switches off.
Yeah, I can't see anything in this. I'm still intrigued as to what we're doing with the left back situation, though, because we linked the guy a lot, and it's just a bit too much smoke without fire. And a lot of the rumours are that we're looking for 3 or 4 positions, and left back is one of the positions that keeps being named. So I would insinuate that Pellegrini wants one of them gone, and it's just a case of which one now. I think a month ago we'd all said it was nailed on to be Masuaku, but maybe he's changed Pellegrini's mind. We'll get on to that, though. There's a couple of questions from people on Twitter about Masuaku and Creswell, so we'll come on to that. Incomings, Mitrovic and Maxi Gomez seems to still be the main targets. It does look like Celta Vigo will avoid relegation, though, so Maxi Gomez's price will be the 45 million. Does that put you off a little bit, or does that make it a little bit more gettable for West Ham, because we're going to have less competitors, aren't we? Barcelona, of course, are going for Griezmann, so they don't really need Maxi Gomez anymore, who's sort of our main rival, if you like.
Has it put me off? I don't think I was ever fully put on in that sense. I've not seen enough of him. From what I have seen, he looks a bit of a lump. It's his first touch doesn't seem fantastic. Clearly he can impact play. Clearly he can score. He's a target man, isn't he? Which obviously Mitrovic is as well. I'll be surprised if we were going that way. It has to be said. I think, and I've thought for some time, aside from the midfield issue, which maybe we'll get to later on, I think unless we have Antonio and Anderson in the team, we lack pace. There's been a lot of times where you don't have both. It's not enough to have one quick player. I think we want to play. If you want to play attacking football, counter-attacking football, which we seem to, we want to seem to play a high line. We want to seem to win the ball back, and we want to seem to get at them. You have as much pace as possible. And probably the biggest area for pace, I like to think, is the centre forward. Yes, you can play it up to a target man, and then he holds it up and lays it off to the wide players. But look, if that's the way he's going, that's the way he's going. I wouldn't be upset if we didn't get Maxi Gomez, though.
If he's Pellegrini's main target, though, do we have to go get him? Does that sort of change the landscape a bit?
Yes, but I mean, you can get somebody who's also. I mean, as I say, I've mentioned Haller before. There's a guy called Yusuf Poulsen who's he's big, he's quick, and there are quicker guys that can do both things. But you do have to back the manager. There's no doubt about that. You can't have some geezer sat in his cupboards picking the players who Pellegrini should have, and you can't have some geezer sat in his mansion picking the players who Pellegrini should have. So if that's who he's decided, in the same way that decided Felipe Anderson was his number one, if he has decided that Maxi Gomez is his number one target, we should get it. And make no mistake about it, I am a plumber sat in a cupboard talking about football, Geo, and you heard my tactical appraisal of a target man and how he'd fit into our system. Manuel Pellegrini is a football manager who has had a lot of success over the years. Clearly, he knows how he fits into his tactics far more than I do.
We have to get him. If Pellegrini thinks he's his main target, we have to go get him at all costs, I think. I think you always have to go after your manager's number one, regardless of who it is and how much it costs. He has to get his number one target. And then that allows, like, say, the left back position, let's say it's our third priority position. That means that if you can't get Pellegrini's number one left back, you can get excused getting away by getting his second or third. But if his number one player is Maxi Gomez, and Maxi Gomez must be a West Ham player come August, in my opinion, you pay whatever you have to pay for him. Because, I've always banged on about it, as you'll know. It's how Liverpool do it. Klopp wanted Mane. So they went and paid what people consider to be over the odds. It looks like a bargain now. They went and got the exact player Klopp wanted and thought, you know what? If we're paying over the odds because it's worth it. Sometimes paying more for the player is actually worth it because the excess you're paying is what the manager needs, if that makes sense. What you're saving and going and getting a second choice, it's not worth sacrificing the way it fits. I get what you're saying about counter-attacking football. There's going to be a lot of games we're not going to be able to play counter-attacking football, but I'm going to say at least half our home games next season, we're not going to be allowed to play it. Teams are going to sit back against us now. We're starting to improve, and if we keep on improving like we want to, more and more teams will say, right, I'm sure you know what, we're going to... And we struggled against those teams, Burnley, Huddersfield, etc. We struggled against them. Wolves did a number on us by sitting back and counter-attacking us, and we didn't know what to do against it. So I think Pellegrini's thinking, well, we need a guy that can play it. And maybe you're right, maybe we do need a pacey striker as well. But I always think counter-attacking, your paces, your wide men, and actually a midfielder that can get in behind your striker. And that's where your pace comes from for me. The striker can get away with being a little bit slower because he should be 5-10 yards ahead of the rest of the team anyway by the time the counter-attack breaks. Other players coming in. Now, this one interested me. Isaac Hayden of Newcastle plays centre midfield. Once out at Newcastle, he's not really settled in there. Fits the bill, really, for what we're potentially looking for to play alongside Declan Rice, would you say?
Yeah, apparently he's misses and he's got a young child, never moved up there. I think maybe it was on Arsenal's books or something like that, possibly in the past. I mean, I only really watched him, funny enough, because of old Longcock, who was playing next to him at Newcastle before he got injured. So that's when he came to my attention, and then I watched him. Yeah, look, we're crying out for midfield, and what you said about the pace in midfield is something that's absolutely right. I would be amazed if Pellegrini hasn't looked at the team and thought, I need some legs in midfield. Now, Noble has finished the season very, very well. He looks excellent. Rice looks excellent, and I'm delighted to see Wilshere coming back. I really am. I'm hopeful for Wilshere for next season. Really, very, very much so. But you've got to look at our team. I think we need legs in the middle of the park. So many times we get overrun when everything's going our way. It looks beautiful, but a lot of times we get done, and when we get done, it's with energy. I find a lot. I think we've got some good technique. We've got some stuff, and yeah, I think he would fit the bill. I'd like a few more goals, I've got to say, but my knowledge of midfielders is not fantastic in the European game. I know 2 or 3, but you need somebody with legs. West Ham needs somebody with legs. We need to transition well for the reasons that I said, and I don't know if anything's going to happen with Fredericks, but we do have an opportunity because he is rapid to quite easily, just with the addition of 2 players, to make our team a very, very fast team. You might not be able to afford the best technical players in the world, but if you've got a lot of speed, a lot of pace, a lot of athleticism in your team, you can cause other teams a lot of problems. I liked him. He looked good when I saw him.
I like Hayden as well. Very neat footballer, does the job well, does what he's required. Newcastle are sort of overachieving, in my opinion. Their squad is not that great, but Benitez has got them singing a song, and Hayden's a key player in the middle of the park. It's funny because he keeps changing who's next to Hayden, but Hayden has always stayed in there. So Keys had a run of games, Shelby did at the start of the season, then Longstaff came in, etc. But Hayden's always been the one that's remained. The other thing that really goes in Hayden's favour is he's homegrown. He counts as homegrown. We're lacking those players at the minute. We're at our limit. We've lost Andy Carroll as well, who was part of the squad, who is a homegrown player. And we keep talking about some players that we'd like to shift on, or we might shift on. They're also homegrown. So we just need to be careful of minding that little figure coming in the season. So I wouldn't be surprised if Hayden is a rumour that's got legs to it, if you like. I don't think he'd cost the world either, actually. I'd be surprised if we paid more than 20 million for him. But 20 million seems to be the magic number when it comes to centre midfielders being linked with West Ham in a minute, because they're all 20 to 25 million pounds, these players. Did you know the transfer window opens tomorrow? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
It's quite kind of so you can start buying players tomorrow. No rest, but it's because we shut earlier now, don't we? Shut 2-3 weeks earlier for the season starts, so we've got to open 2-3 weeks earlier. So hence why it opens now and at the start of June. Etheridge, we were linked to Etheridge, the Cardiff goalkeeper. Now, I actually really like the link of this one, but then it's sort of been dismissed already, so now that's not happening, which is a shame. I thought he was bloody brilliant. I thought whenever I watched Cardiff, I've always thought he kept them in games for longer than, as the game went on, he was making key saves, very quick off his line. Whenever that ball was in the box, he was out there at it. And but it seems that we were going for an old keeper, someone out of contract probably for a couple of seasons, so that Trott's available to take that space. Is that the right tactic, considering sort of Trott or budget, etc.? Is that the right thing to do?
I think Trott's ready. I can't remember what age De Gea was, but I have a hunch that when Man U looked at De Gea, he was 17 or something like that. Trott reminds me a lot of him, actually, those early days. He's very confident with the ball at his feet as well, if you want to pass it back to him quickly. And his reflex saving is absolutely excellent. What did I watch? I think maybe it was a Chelsea game or a Man City game. And coming off the bench was Richard Wright. He didn't go on to play, but you know, when the game finishes, the final whistle blew, and there he was in his long trench coat, Richard Wright. Crikey, I thought he was dead. And I understand why they do it, but I just think, what is the point in paying somebody like a Richard Wright, Peter Shilton, whoever, who is who's pretty much finished their career? What's the point in paying somebody like that 30 grand a week to sit on the bench just to be experienced? Is that person actually going to be a better goalkeeper than Nathan Trott? Well, I'm certainly their reflexes are not going to be. Also, I don't like when you have somebody that's a little bit senior, you get a problem with which we had when we faced Wimbledon. And that's the case where, you've got to play him in the cup games. You feel the need to. I don't want to. I want Fabianski to play every single game. Goalkeepers don't need a rest. They stand there and they dive on the floor and hopefully keep the ball out of the net. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes we made. Yes, against Wimbledon, he made a handful of changes, but they were enough. It sets the tone. It sends a message to the team saying, I'm taking this slightly less seriously. The very first name on the team sheet is the second best goalkeeper I have. No, don't do it. Fabianski plays all the games. Trott is there as a backup. And if it does all go belly up, There are a ton of keepers like Richard Wright out of contract, third choice, who are available. The one thing the Premier League will let you do, and the FA will pass the paperwork, is let you do emergency loans for goalkeepers if things go belly up. I think he's more beneficial, Nathan Trott, being on the bench for this one, for the next season.
I'm not sure they do emergency loans anymore. I couldn't tell you the last time they done one. I think Burnley had an issue with it at one point at the start of the season. I know they got Joe Hart in the end, but I think they signed him before the transfer window. I can't remember what it was. The reason they've got Richard Wright is to take the homegrown box because it counts as homegrown. So that's why they have him. And also, I think I told you this before, but I'll repeat it anyway. It's also for in training, so that when I know Aguero's Aguero, but it's so Aguero's firing shots at an experienced keeper rather than an 18-year-old who's like quite green, if you like. Richard Wright, he is experienced, so when they're practicing drills, they've got an experienced keeper in the goal, if you like, and that's why they have him. I get why we would take in an older keeper for a couple of years because Fabianski is number one, and the plan is to send Nathan Trott on loan to a championship club. Now, I find that quite a key thing. That we're saying championship. We're obviously looking at how successful Sam Johnson's loan was from Manchester United. He's now down in the championship. He was at West Brom now, and he's played in the semi-finals, the playoffs, etc. And he's done very well there. But it does show that. But my worry is Nathan Trott would go to a championship club and sit on the bench for a championship club rather than sit on our bench when he could. The only other sort of thing that goes. It's very difficult to be a goalkeeper because there's only 20 places in the Premier League up for grabs. Right? If you're a keeper in the lower league, you can rule out the top 6 straight away unless you're special, right? So that leaves 14 clubs you can join. And half of them have already got a number one, so you can rule them out. That only leaves 7 places. And teams don't change their keeper. If your centre back's bad form, your right back's bad form, you just change. The manager changes him for the next game. You don't do that with your goalie. Really, you stick with him because it's your keeper. You stick with him as long as you can. So it's very difficult. A keeper is an unusual position in a football club in the sense that, I mean, if anything, that's where we went tits up 2 years ago because Randolph and Adrian kept getting swapped. Every 3 games, we had a different one in goal, and we thought, well, this is helping no one. So Fabianski's got 2 years to run. It's perfect, really. Just let Trott go out for a season or two, get an old guy in, and we'll wait and see who it is. But it's just going to be a 36-year-old keeper on a free, on a 1 or 2 year deal at West Ham. So there we have it. Midfielders been linked to. Now, this one's interesting. Real Madrid's midfielder, Ceballos, signed from, I think it was Real Betis. He signed for Celta Vigo. I think it was Betis. He signed for Betis. Not quite got as much game time as he wanted at Real Madrid, and we're being linked with him quite a lot, actually. This rumour's been kicking about for like 3 weeks or something now. What do you make of this?
Heard the rumour, watched 3 separate videos on him. I can understand why he's not played. That's for sure. He's certainly not up to Real Madrid standards. That's for sure.
Yeah, but either at West Ham, to be fair.
No, absolutely. Lots of sideways passes. And some more sideways passes, really. I didn't see him someone really impacting the game. Certainly not better than Lanzini, for instance. Certainly not. No, I wasn't. I wasn't particularly impressed. I've got to say, he looked like you know, they have the B teams, Barcelona B and Real Madrid have a B. He looked like a B team player, really. So I bet they'd be laughing all the way to the bank if they could get 20 million out of us for someone in a B team. But look, I watched 3 YouTube videos, but I did watch 3 of them. I watched 3 sort of 6-7 minute videos, and I was waiting for the killer pass and the killer goal and this, that, and the other. If you get someone in, you pay money. We need someone to impact a game. That didn't look like the guy.
I've not seen enough of him to comment, to be honest. Heard the name, that's about it. Can't tell you. But the type of midfielder, it doesn't take long to figure out what type of midfielder he is. There's websites here and everywhere you can click on these days. I'll give you like a rundown if you like. And when they're all saying similar things, usually it's, but then saying that one could be copying the other one could be copying that one. So,
surely not.
it's
people even do that on YouTube, Geo. So
Chinese whispers blogger style, isn't it? I'll just have a read of this guy. Yeah, I've decided that's what he's like. Someone could probably put he scored 50 goals in 100 games, and another website, like, yeah, he scored 50 goals in 100 games, this guy. You know? But going by what they're saying, he's not Declan Rice-esque, he's more Lanzini-esque, etc., which I think we need, actually. I think that's what we need. But the thing is, we've already got that player. Just a case of can he stay fit, and that's Jack Wilshere. I think Jack Wilshere is that player, but you can't go get another Jack Wilshere in, assuming Wilshere's going to get injured again. Because then if he doesn't, you've then got a massive problem. You can't play two of them. We'd be exposed completely. We just spoke about how we conceded the most shots in the league. We'll try that with two Jack Wilsheres in the middle of your park. You're going to be conceding a lot more shots. So
I think with players like this, Joe, it's easy to get blinded because they got a continental name and they've donned the white shirt of Real Madrid. If this guy was English, he wouldn't get anywhere near Gareth Southgate's squad. So I mean, and I'm not saying we have to get somebody comparable of that standard, but we do actually have an international midfielder who can get in Gareth Southgate's squad, and he's not the athlete, and yeah, I guess he is a bit like Lanzini, albeit without the pace or the goals and the trick.
They're only. The thing like this, I'll leave this till the end. Let me just write something over the top of this because there's a question at the end that sort of relates to this a little bit. Another player we've been linked to over the last 24 hours is someone who's sort of really well known among football fans, a bit like the Talisman deal when he went to Leicester, which is Kessie at AC Milan. Now, 22 years old, big boy. Now he is a type.
Sorry, were you talking to me?
he's a strong guy. He's coming in there to dominate the midfield, but he's the type of midfielder we need, Paul. He can pass, etc. He's certainly a defensive midfielder. He's got not bad goals return for someone that plays his role, if you like. But I can't help think, should his reputation stand up to what he actually is, if you like, it's above our level a little bit. But saying that, Leicester City got Talisman and Everton got Andre Gomez, didn't they? So is there, you've probably heard of this guy. Do you think, would this guy excite you a bit?
This one, I can't lie. I've not seen enough. I really have. I think the other guy that we spoke of, I've probably watched in total 15 to 20 minutes worth of clips. This guy, I've watched 2 minutes. I can't really say I've seen enough. And to be fair, Gio, when you watch these terrible YouTube videos, you're at a mercy at whoever's put them together, because what they do is they do 30 seconds of transitions, a load of dance music over the top, which is absolutely awful. It's not even good dance music. It's the free stuff that's not copywritten, right? So they get to use it there. And then another 30 seconds of them just celebrating, high-fiving their teammates. And then just this grainy footage, which they've zoomed in on because they can't, well, they don't want to be copywritten, so they don't want to show the full screen. And it's just awful. It's awful. It's a thumbs down on the video I saw, and I didn't watch anymore.
Yeah, see, I've seen a little bit of this guy more towards the end of the season, because when AC Milan signed Piatek, I thought, you know what, I'm going to start watching some AC Milan games now, see how the gunman gets on. And to be fair, it's Suso that sort of appeals when you watch the AC Milan. You think, actually, he's the guy that's everybody wants, etc. But he looks good. Whether we get him or not, I'm not too sure. I think this one will be sort of out of our reach, if you like. One player that has sort of been linked to us but also been dismissed is Gustavo Cuellar. I'm not going to ask Gonzo about this guy because he plays for Flamengo in Brazil. 24 million. It's sort of been dismissed already. He's only got a handful of caps for his country as well. So work permit's unlikely. The journalist has been a lazy so-and-so. No surprise there. One other incoming we'll quickly discuss. We've been linked to Mo Diame again. He's on a free. He's free. He's left Newcastle. He's on a free contract and 32 years old now. Would you fancy a bit of Mo Diame back? He's the type of midfielder you like.
Yeah, he's free for a reason, mate. No. Did he not sign? He didn't sign an autograph, did he? At the Player Awards. Was that what happened? Yeah, I think it was something like that. I think at the Player Awards, a fan asked him for an autograph, and he told him to do one or something. But anyway, it wasn't me. I wasn't a fan, and so he didn't insult me. But he clearly left a bad taste in the mouths of some fans. Maybe I've dreamt it. Maybe I just made that up. Not that I dream about Mo Diame, of course, but no, he's on a free. Can't get into the Newcastle team. That ship has sailed. That ship has gone. Not interested at all.
He did okay at Newcastle, actually. He's done not too bad. He's sort of not quite resurrected his career like Sissoko at Spurs, but he's done all right. But the problem is, the big alarm bell for anybody looking at him is Newcastle United, who don't have a lot of money to spend, have decided not to renew his contract. So when a club with not much money decides to let a guy go for free, there's a good chance he's not good or he's sort of past it, etc. So yeah, let's hope this is just a rumour, and I'm quite confident it is. It's just a rumour. One thing I want to talk about is Marko Arnautovic. Obviously, he's come back into form, if you like. Scored in 2 of his last 3 games, 3 goals in 2 games or whatever it was. A lot of the fan base are sort of warming to him again, if you like. A lot, the polls of January time. So I know it's social media, and we sort of did that thing, but let's just take it as a rule of thumb. The poll suggested 80% wanted them go in January. Now they're sort of 60-40 in Marco's favour. Have you warmed to him? I'm in the review, but I'm going to bear in mind that you were not in your focus mind. You said 40 million, I would have sell him. But is that a sober Gonzo view, or what? What's your thinking with Arnautovic?
Yeah, I get very excitable when I've had a drink. It has to be said, and I don't think as clearly as maybe I should do. We are one link, one tweet or Instagram post from his brother away from being in that whole situation again. Are we to believe that he has totally changed his character? That the former stroppy Marko Arnautovic, who can have his head turned by a link to anybody, the one that tried to leave Stoke, the one that has been linked twice away from us and his head turned twice with us, are we to believe somebody at the age of 30 has totally changed his character? He is now a nice guy because he kissed a fan on the head, or whatever it may be. Politicians do that stuff all the time to curry favour. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I hope he does well. I hope while he's with us, he continues to do well. But don't be lulled into the false sense of security that everything is now fine. The problem has gone away, and that Marco is now claret and blue, crossed hammers, kissing the old shirt badge, and all the rest of it. No, we are one Instagram post away from it all happening again. We are one article in the Sun away from somebody saying, pick your club. Monaco, AS Monaco, interested in Marko Arnautovic. We are one thing away from it happening all over again.
So I assume this means you want him sold? And
he's volatile, mate. He's volatile. He's not handling TNT. It's too much of a... Well, want him sold. No one's going to buy him. I don't think he'll be sold. I just think he's going to be a problem. He's got a 4 or 5 year contract. We're not getting 4 or 5 years of joyful bliss out of Marko Arnautovic where everyone's happy. He loves us and we love him. That's not going to happen. If there's an opportunity to get rid of him, we probably should do, but it's not going to happen. So we've got to hope for the best.
What's the acceptable price for you then? If he got sold tomorrow and the price was X, what would X have to be for you to say good deal?
Well, so drunk Gonzo said 40 million. Sober, sensible, grumpy Gonzo, I'll take 25 million from him.
So would I, actually. I think, you know something, buying a player for 25 million, getting the best year of his career out of him, selling him for 25 million, it's good business. It's good. It's like a free loan, if you like. It's very good business. I would like to see him sold in the summer as well for about 25 million. I'm like you. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's sort of knuckled down. Mark Noble has come out and said, he's knuckled down a little bit in... so you've got to hope that that's true. And Pellegrini sort of said positive comments to him. But I'm like, the guy's a ticking time bomb. He's got previous for it. Not just at West Ham, he's other clubs as well. This is a continuation thing. And the West Ham keep progressing the way we want them to progress. Now, we know this summer we don't have much money. So chances are we're not going to buy a marquee signing. But in 12 months' time, if everything goes ahead as it's supposed to, we're arguably going to be debt-free. We're going to have 10 million to trip, and that's it. No, it probably won't work like that. We'll probably take out a payday loan, etc. But we could potentially have a decent bit of kitty money in 12 months' time. Let's just say we do go get a marquee signing. Who's going to be on more money than Marko Arnautovic? Then what? He's going to be sitting there. Bearing in mind, he'd be 31 years old at this point. But that's not going to stop him. A 31-year-old, just because you're a year older doesn't mean he suddenly changes his attitude. All it is fans will then think, actually, you're 31 now, out. He's 30 right now. He's already sort of... But my other concern is, I think we've got a problem. I think Pellegrini's got a problem. Remember when Slaven Bilic had Andre Ayew? And we signed Andre Ayew, and I said to you, a Swansea fan said, fantastic player playing in his right position, but good luck finding his right position. Now, it's summed up Andre Ayew for me. When you watched him at West Ham, I know you weren't keen on him, but I thought Ayew was a really good player. But the problem was, there was nowhere to play him. He wasn't a striker, he wasn't a wide midfielder, he wasn't an attacking midfielder. He just didn't have a role. At Swansea, he had a free role. Do what you want. You don't do that at West Ham because you're not good enough to be that player at West Ham. Felipe Anderson probably is, but that's it. Lanzini might be on his day, but that's it. Wiltshire could be. Andre Ayew was now I think Pellegrini's now got a Marko Arnautovic Andre Ayew problem here, because is he a striker? No. Is he an attacking midfielder? No. Is he a wide player? Probably not, but Would you play him ahead of Anderson or Yarmolenko when he's fully fit, or Antonio out wide? Probably not. So where do you play him? I think this is Pellegrini's problem now, because if he does go get Maxi Gomez, then what's he going to do? Because if he puts Maxi Gomez up front, where's Anavic going? Is he replacing Anderson?
On the bench. He's going on the bench, and he'll love that.
Then what happens?
Yeah.
Then it's no longer about money. It's I want playing time. I want out. Goodbye, etc. I couldn't think of a worse player to try and bring off the bench. Do you know sometimes when you've seen players like Carlos Tevez at clubs when the manager says warm up, and they go, no. That is a Marko Navic thing. That will be something, in my opinion, that could very well happen. Should we get a better striker than Marko Navic and he becomes second choice, and Pellegrini says, warm up, Marco, you could just imagine him going, no, you're all right, I'll sit here. And it's just going to be very, very awkward. I think we're causing problems. But I honestly think Pellegrini's got a Marko Navic problem, because even when we win, even at Watford, he scored, but there was a couple of times I thought we could tell Anavic isn't a striker. There was a couple of passes Anderson made, and Anavic was standing about 10 yards away from where he should have been. You could see Anderson looking at him as if to say, the pass ain't the problem here, mate. It's you. It's your movement. Antonio's got better striker movement than Marko Navic, where he gets in behind defences, etc. So that's my theory. I could be wrong, because see Marko Navic score 20 goals next season. I hope I am wrong. There's nothing I'd want to see more. But I'm just a bit worried that we're going to have this problem. And it's an expensive problem to have as well. This guy's now on 125 grand a week. And if he's happy with it, which we have to assume he is, where's his motivation? What's his... It's easy for him to down tools now because he's well paid to do it. It's easy for him to say, you know what, he doesn't actually need his move anymore. He just needs to get paid by West Ham United every month for the next 4 years of his contract. That's all that he needs. So yeah, one to watch, but I would certainly like to see him sold as well. 25, 30 million, I think would be good, especially if Pellegrini can use that to bring in a replacement of similar ability, and hopefully 3-4 years younger at least, and that would be ideal for me. The new kit's Gonzo. They've sort of been leaked again, and they always get leaked, don't they? But the difference this year is it's not really like, oh, it might look like this. It's sort of like, hey, it looks like this.
Yeah.
We all know what it looks like. The 76 home kit, the away kit's based on the 80s FA Cup final. Before, obviously, I haven't seen them, but the concept, do you like?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, really like it. Yeah. I don't normally get excited about kits much. If you haven't said that excited, might be pushing it. But I like it. I like it. I like this one. I like the it plays a homage to the past. I quite like that. I read something earlier. Somebody said we got to stop with this harking back to the past or something like that. I disagree. I think if you can, look at an old design that's sort of iconic and give it a twist, then why not? Absolutely. I liked it. I think it's a nice looking shirt. I didn't like any of this year's shirts. I thought the freaking grey thing was awful. That I'd been through look like one of Mrs. Gonzo's socks had been left in the white wash, basically. The blue, dark blue. Why dark blue? Where's dark blue from? Dark blue's got nothing to do with it. And I didn't think the home kit had much character either. So I like this one, mate.
I'm not a kit person, if you like, and to be fair, this won't be popular. The home kit, because maybe it's different because we didn't have that kit as a youngster. Like obviously, I was born after the kit was out and stuff. So to me, it's sort of like I perhaps don't have the same emotional attachment to what yourself has, perhaps. So when I see it, it's one of them I look and I think, I'm iffy with it. I like the idea of the away one more than the home one, truth be told, plain white, etc., with little claret and blue trimmings and that. I just think this one looks a bit funny being big blue, but as you know, kits don't bother me.
I think what I've got to say, when you look at that kit as someone that's a bit older, you see Trevor Brookett, you see Billy Bonds, you're not just seeing a kit, you are getting a bit of that as well with it. So, yeah, what I must say here is, I've got to say, because you know me, I don't understand all the politics. I do think it's all a bit Judean People's Fronts, all the groups, the fan groups, Geo.
Yeah.
Everyone discusses. Obviously, USB, not USB, USB, OSB. Obviously, we got Wissa. We've had the real West Ham fans, the supporters group, the supporters trust, the people's trust, the supporters official trust, and so on and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of been a lot of war of words, a lot of infighting and outfighting, a lot of words said between a lot of them. And I don't understand it, which is probably why I don't get involved, because I'm not overly interested in the fan politics of West Ham. But maybe, just maybe, this group that got together, there was some little division, wasn't there, within the OSB, a sect, a cult, a single cult of the OSB got together and helped with the shirt design, or there was what was there? There was you could vote, or you could do.
Yeah, you're about a year out though. Their meeting that was for the season after.
Oh, that's not this shirt.
No, this shirt was already designed. This shirt, I mean, the meeting was only a month ago. There's no way that in the space of a month they've decided, yeah, that's the kit we'll go with for next season. It was for the following season. So the funny thing is, all the feedback they've got is basically for this kit. So they've gone into the meeting and said, the fans would like this, and they've gone, well, that's next season's kit. And they've gone, well, they want it for 2 seasons now.
Yeah,
They're going to have to go do the survey again and say, well, now you've seen next season's kit. Do you want the same one again, or what do you want? Because everybody sort of said that. So you can imagine the Umbro guy, they would have been sitting in that meeting thinking, we've nailed it for next season.
Absolutely. Good on them. They might have made it. Listen, Father Christmas could make all the presents and deliver them all within 2 weeks. I reckon they took the feedback when they did this kit.
Perhaps we'll wait and see. But anyway, are you ready? Is there anything else you'd like to mention or discuss? News, gossip?
Yes. You may well notice that I am sporting a very nice kit. This is the Belfast Hammers, and this is in homage to Peter. I want to say hello to Peter, my man Peter, over in Ireland. Hello, mate. There you
go. Just writing down some questions from the live chat. We'll start with Twitter. _ Chris B27 _ Chris says, why not Grealish from Villa? Now, this is a player you obviously like, but they're in the playoff final, so I think it's going to heavily rely on promotion. They obviously have you watched the Championship semi-finals?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's safe to say while he didn't score that, he looked the best player on the pitch over the 2 legs, etc. Do you know something? I'm still unsure on him, Gonzo. I'm not doubting the guy's ability. He's clearly got. I'm doubting his price tag. I'm just not sure he's worth. Do you know something? We're being like 25 million. Say, let's pluck out a figure. 25 million of Jack Grealish, but you know the players we just mentioned on the other page could be better than him for the same price. I just think it could be better spent. I don't think he's as good as James Maddison was in the Championship. And I'm using that as sort of my barometer for Championship players, if you like.
I think he's more naturally gifted than James Maddison. James Maddison maybe knows how to apply himself a little better technically and with a football brain. I think he's a bit better than Maddison. I just don't understand the point of being the 16th richest club in the world if you can't buy Championship players if they're too expensive. I understand, and yes, they might get promoted. But they didn't get promoted last season. We could have bought him then. We keep hearing far too often that players are out of our price range. Now I understand that we can't go and get, I don't know, pick your player at Barcelona. I understand we can't go and buy Luis Suarez because we're punching up to do that. Why can't we go and buy Championship players? That's ridiculous. What's the point? We're West Ham United with 60,000 fans or whatever, and we are the 16th richest club in the world with a turnover of 180 million. It's a ridiculous thing to say that we can't afford them. We should be able to afford them, and if not, why not?
I don't think it's about affording them. I think it's value for money. We could probably go pick out the best 11 out of the Championship from this season. Let's just say 15 million pounds ahead. It would cost you 150 million in that, but you could probably spend that 150 million over in the Bundesliga and get players a lot more experienced that are a lot better. Like what you're getting out of the Championship. I think it's just value for money, really. I don't think it's necessarily about affording them. Because actually, I'll just go with one of these live chat questions because it sort of ties in with this, and it's from Lewis Benham. It says, "What do you think of Bradley Dack?" Now, that's a perfect example to me. Rumored at 18-20 million. He's getting the goals for Blackburn. He's getting the assists, but 18 million for him. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure he'd cut it in the Premier League. I think he'd end up being on the bench because he's nowhere near as good as Lanzini or Felipe Anderson. So why would you spend 80 million pounds? He's very good in Championship, but why would you spend it on a guy that's going to not dislodge your first team members? In my opinion, you should never buy him unless it's the keeper. You should never buy a backup player. You should never be thinking, I'll buy him to be my backup right back. You should never do that. You should be thinking, I'm going to buy that guy to be my first choice right back. You know, someone said to me, who would you like to see replace Obiang? Martin Noble. I want Martin Noble to replace Obiang. I want someone to replace Martin Noble. There's no point in replacing Pedro Obiang. What's the point in that? You know, I know what the guy's saying. The guy's obviously saying, well, if we go get someone better than Noble to replace Obiang. But my point is, you should always buy someone that's going to come into your first 11. Bradley Dack, don't think he will. Jack Grealish, on his day perhaps, but it's a £5 million punt, and I don't think it's worth it.
Well, I think Bradley Dack, the other thing, Bradley Dack, unless I've got it hugely wrong, he's 27. I think he's not. Yeah. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. We've got to stop doing that as well. You get someone from the Championship, you make sure they're in their low 20s and with their career ahead of them. Otherwise, it better work out. That's why I didn't want to do Kearney as well. Andy on the forum, Andy from Brazil, he said today that he posted some data on the forum this morning about players' peak years in the Premier League being between 26 and 29. After that, they tail off. And I might not be telling anybody anything surprising there at all. But I think in our minds sometimes we think, oh, it's 33, 34. They're not quite as good. The best seasons of players statistically are between 26 and 29. So no, I don't want to go and buy a 27-year-old from the Championship.
The problem with the youngsters in the Championship is Premier League clubs are too scared to take a punt. You look at Norwich City; they're going to have one of the best as a pair. They're going to have one of the best pairings of fullbacks in the league next season.
The geezer Aaron plays there.
Yeah, they are. But people have probably been scouting them for all season. But you missed the boat now. They're in the Premier League, you ain't getting them. And if you do want them, they're twice the price they would have been 6 months ago. Because I think they just sit there and watch. And it's the Jack Grealish thing like we're discussing. Villa don't get promoted. One or two clubs might swoop. They might think, brilliant. Villa do come up, then that's it. You've missed your chance. Like Ryan Sessegnon over at Fulham. As soon as Fulham come up, well, that was it. You couldn't get him, could you? He's not a Premier League club. So you need to be a little bit on it. You need to be sharper. You need to take more punts. And I think Premier League clubs these days are just a little bit too... It's sort of like taboo buying a Championship club player, and it almost feels like you're sort of going in the charity shop to go get your new piece of clothing rather than going down the shop so everyone can see you walk about with your fancy bag with your £50 polo shirt, when actually the same one is in the charity shop for £5. But you're just a bit too embarrassed to go there. You'd rather spend the extra 45 quid just for the bag. And that's what we're trying to do. Well, not we, the Premier League. That's what they're trying to do. Actually, I'm going to pluck that gem out of the South American League and get all the points. Actually, your answer's staring you in the face sometimes, but the problem is you just don't want to be sitting going and buying a Leeds United player because it's a Leeds United player from the Championship. That's my theory anyway. The talent's there. The clubs just don't want to take the punt, if you like. Woody, Hammers fan, insurance number.
Yeah, man, Alan, he came down the boats.
Yeah, he did. He said, good to meet you guys on your boats. Thanks for keeping us entertained all season. With Manchester United looking at overhauling the squad, are there any players we could realistically take from them, or have their recent performances put you off? Now, your friend...
Manchester United, did you say?
Yeah. About 2 years ago, you said you wouldn't mind Juan Mata for 40 million. Well, he's out of contract this summer. I mean, is Juan Mata still your mate?
No, we don't need... well, he's a lovely man, but we don't need him. And he doesn't inject that pace. Yeah, there is somebody that I would get from Manchester United, actually. There is somebody.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be interesting. What position's yours?
Striker, left striker, if you like.
I'll play Martial. You're not allowed to say Martial.
I'm not, no.
Don't say Alexis Sanchez.
No. Chilean. Think about it. Chilean. They're going to pay all his wages.
No.
Quality player. Class. His compatriot, Pellegrini, can get the best out of him. I like it. I'm having a bit of that. Alexis Sanchez.
Jesus Christ. You literally just said 2 minutes ago, players peak between 26 and 29. This guy's, what is he, 31? On £500,000 a week?
No, we don't pay it. Man United paid it £500,000. We get him on loan for a season.
Yeah, you're going to have to
we got three strikers to
So if you have to pay, let's say the Man United said £100 a week has to be your contribution, would you still go for that?
Well, no, I think you can nail them. I think they're a club in absolute turmoil and despair. I think you can get what you want. They just want him off the books. You know, they need to showcase him to get him sold.
But okay, I'm genuinely being serious here. Would you play him ahead of Felipe Anderson?
No, don't be ridiculous.
Oh, you would kind of like
No, listen, this is a very, very new thing that we've got, that he's playing on the left and all the rest of it. Actually, he played a lot. His best form at Arsenal was as a striker. He played for Arsenal as a striker. He played for Udinese. Actually, was a little bit more wide, and then he would go. He's an absolutely terrific player. So something has happened there, and you can't take his whole career as it being all. If you've done that all his time, like you said with Dubry, with Arnautovic, what he's doing now, he's done his whole career. Sanchez hasn't. So something has gone on. It's something very, very specific. I think it's something about his dog, actually. Something happened with his dog. But anyway, that's
turned crap.
Huh?
He turned crap.
He's not crap. He's not crap. Quality player. Quality player.
Yeah. When he was in his late 20s, with the data you've just provided me 2 minutes ago.
You throw these questions at me about Man United. He sprang to mind.
Yeah, but I want to see us build for the future, and that does not contain a 31-year-old on £500,000.
Well, I don't want Tom McKimmony or whatever his name is. He's shit. Oh,
That's
sorry.
what I'm not going to say, and he's not that bad actually.
Very average. Very average.
Did you watch the Man United play Barcelona? He was one of the best players on the pitch.
Limited ability. I'm better on the ball than he is.
Right, okay. You're just trying to bait me here in my Scottishness. I refuse to bite. But no.
Oh, you did. You did.
I'm not biting twice. Like, Tommy is a good player. You'll soon see. Is he a Man United player? Maybe not, but he's a good player. I'll tell you what, he would be ideal next to Declan Rice. He's someone that would be ideal long-term for West Ham next to Declan. But the player I would take, and this won't go down well, is Jesse Lingard. I've always liked him. He's sort of in his prime, according to your data. English, homegrown. He used to be sort of like the next thing at Man United. It's got to the point now fans are realising you're a bit old to be the next thing. I think he's 27 soon, or he might already be 27. So he's not going to make it, if you like. So he's someone I could say he's the type of player I think we like. The only problem is a lot of people won't like his social media side of things and stuff. There's something I like that. He's having fun. He's enjoying his career, and we all like it when Antonio does it. So why would you not want it? But yeah, that's who I would take. Should he be up for grabs? I can't see him because he is sort of like
he's one of the few that's got a good attitude there. To be fair, mate, I can't see Solskjaer letting him leave.
But he doesn't get a game. He's not been playing that much, so I'd rather him than Alexis Sanchez anyway. Chris Dixon at Jolie_Chris93 says, Jack Wilshere, where does he actually fit in to our system, and who drops out to accommodate him?
To our system, so the system that we have most recently been playing, I thought it was Noble, but he seems to be playing in more advanced. I've got to say, I think next season's a big season for Wilshere. I've got to put faith in. As a West Ham fan, I've got to want him to do well. I think he's absolute quality. I really have. Before the start of the season, I was really excited to get Wilshere in. He'd actually had a really good season at Arsenal the year before. Played lots and lots of games. Even just when you see him fleetingly, even when he's come on the last 2 or 3 games for West Ham, the way he rolls the defender, the way he moves his body just around the ball, the way he contorts the ball, his awareness, he's a fantastic footballer. I'm desperate for Jack Wilshere to work out at West Ham. And this easily gets forgotten. It's easy to mock him, Jack Wheelchair and all this sort of business. But he is a West Ham fan. He does come from a family of West Ham fans, and they're all going to desperately want him to work out. And I just think he is a top quality footballer. Look, we can't afford Iniesta. Well, Iniesta's bloody retired anyway. But of that ilk, we can't afford Luka Modric. So we got to get some broken goods, really, in that sense. And if he comes right, he fits anywhere in that team. And I do think Pellegrini starts him. I think Pellegrini really, really likes him. He doesn't gush too much. I mentioned this in a video in the week. Pellegrini doesn't gush too much about anyone. People are a bit paranoid. He doesn't say too many nice things about Declan Rice. Doesn't say too many nice things about anyone. He tries to get everyone's feet on the ground, apart from Wilshere. Maybe that's man management because he knew Wilshere was injured. He wanted to give him encouragement to know there was a pathway through to the first team. Very good man management, no problem with that. But he does like him. You can tell from the way he speaks, and you can see he plays Pellegrini's type of football. He could play a Noble's position, but I do think we need more legs if we're going to replace there, as I say. More so, he may well be dovetailing with Lanzini for that role just behind the striker, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think Noble and Rice sort of start, if you like, and then it's between Wilshere and Lanzini, or I don't know. I know people will say no because of his form, but maybe Antonio drops out and sort of Lanzini goes out to the right, and then you play Lanzini and Wilshere and Anderson. Well, that would be some sort of passing football we see there, wouldn't we? The thing with Wilshere, I think Pellegrini's just protecting him. He's trying to defend him. He's trying to remind the fans, if you like, get behind him because this boy can produce the goods. He knows the fans adore Declan Rice defense, and I think Pellegrini's trying to keep the fans' feet on the ground, saying, "Hang on a minute, he's good. He's not there yet. He's got a lot to do. Let's keep him down here." And I think with Wilshere, I think he feels he's got to sort of say to fans, "This guy is quality. If we can get him." But this is where this summer we've got to get away from the broken good stuff. We don't need to gamble on it anymore. And you said we can't afford Luka Modric, you're right. But what we can do is afford the next Luka Modric. It's a case of going and finding him. And that's where we're at now. We're moving. Our transfer strategy has to move from one onto the next stage, which is trying to find that younger players. Even Mark Noble himself has come out and said we need young legs in this summer. Bearing in mind that he must know he's probably the first one to be replaced if we get the young legs in. But that's what being a captain's all about, putting the team first. And he said at the start of the season, listen, if I play less games but the team's winning, I don't care. I'll tell you what, the boy's done good additioning to keep his spot for next season. We'll take a couple more questions and then we'll have to wrap up. But what we'll do is we'll do a video tomorrow night on the Fulham channel. I'll tell you more about that at the end. A couple more though. Tommy Gunn 86 says he's been fantastic for us for the majority of his time here, but in hindsight, can you guess who I'm way to talk about?
They're not talking about Charlie, is he?
Oh, he's not talking about Charlie. But who do you think he's talking about?
He's been fantastic for he's Aaron Cresswell.
No, but that's a good shout. But does it look like a mistake to have activated Zabaleta's contract extension?
I don't know. I think he's going to go ups and downs. There's going to be times when you think it's a really good idea. There's going to be times when you think it's a really, really bad idea. I'm certainly not swayed by 3 good games by Fredericks that we can do without Zabaleta necessarily. I don't think it was a bad idea. I think so. I think he's a quality pro. I really do. I'm not prepared to throw him under a bus just yet because he had a couple of crap games any more than I'm happy to laud Fredericks as the next coming of the Messiah because he had 3 good games. I'll just take a little bit of balance with it. It may have been, I hope they ratcheted his wages down slightly. It wasn't 80 grand a week as he was on previously. I hope a deal was made there. And if it was, then I don't really see a problem. If Zabaleta stayed around at 40, 45 grand a week, particularly with the influence he has in the dressing room, I don't have a problem with it.
Are you warming to Fredericks? I remember the Chelsea game. We played Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and you were saying, he's awful. You're not trusting him. Have you sort of warmed?
I think warmed would be a good word. Yeah, I still think there's some basic technique there that makes me wonder if Pellegrini will ever fully trust him. But I've said this before when I've discussed, I've been consistent with this about Antonio for years now, that effort and athleticism and strength almost seemed like a dirty word in football. It's not. Everybody doesn't have to be Lionel Messi or whatever. You can't have a team of those. You need someone big, you need someone strong, you need someone fast. So I don't think he has a technique that ultimately Pellegrini will want. But if utilised correctly, and the midfield has to be right for Fredericks to operate right, used correctly with the right winger in front of him, his pace is a hell of a threat. Because whilst I do say that he lacks technique, I also do say that the team need pace. So I wouldn't be getting rid of him. I have warmed slightly. I'd be interested to see how he could do with a run in the team, certainly. But I think there's more to come. There's more to come from him, but he's not suddenly going to turn into Cafu.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the right back. for next season, Gonzo. I'm not 100% convinced by Fredericks. He's been in great form. And if he sort of did most improved player for the second half of the season, he would be in contention with Antonio. It would be between those two. But he certainly sort of deserves a squad place for next season, certainly. 2 months ago, I would have said I wouldn't mind selling him, to be honest. But he's changed my mind. I think he deserves another go, if you like. My concern is we're next season. Remember when we had Adrian and Randolph? We had two backup goalkeepers, but we didn't have a number one goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I am worried we have that problem with Fredericks and Zabaleta next season. I'm worried that they're both good for X amount of games, back up. But I've got a feeling we're going to be chopping and changing the right back a lot next season because one will play 2 good games and 2 bad games. The next guy comes in 2 good. And I'm just a little bit worried. And I just feel like we made the wrong option by allowing Zabaleta to choose his own fate. He had that clause, play 28 games, you can have a 1-year contract extension. I get why it was in there because we had to lure him to West Ham. When he left City, he would have had a lot of options. I get why we've given him that little extra thing to entice him to the club. And if he's played 28 games, you'd assume he's been a success. And he has been a success to an extent, but I think the last couple of months, his form's been really bad. It's not just been a couple of games for me, it's been a couple of months. And Charlie said in the review, which summed up to me, is he's not just lost. You can excuse his pace, you can excuse his age, but his back pass against Watford, for example, it's got nothing to do with any of that. That is a footballing brain decision, if you like. And you do worry if he's sort of struggling a little bit, and I don't know what it is. And that concerns me. And we made a mistake allowing him to play against Leicester City, which was his 28th appearance, because then Zabaleta could say, yeah, I'm having that 1 year. Thank you very much. Nothing you can say about it. Thanks. Cheers, guys. I almost think he did, because there was a little while that between his 28th appearance and Zabaleta getting a new contract, there was nothing. Right? So, I don't know, Zabaleta was maybe sort of looking at his options and realised he didn't actually have that many. So he thought, you know what, I'll just stay at West Ham. I'll just have that. And I'm just worried that right back's going to be a problem for us next season. It's going to be one of these things. I predict, Gonzo, in November, we're going to be looking ahead to trying to transfer window. We're going to be sitting here going, well, I hope there's 15 million in the kitty because we need a right back. Zabaleta's only got 6 months of his contract to go. We need to get someone in now. Sam Byram's not the answer. So he needs gone in the summer. That's my prediction. Fantastic player, Zabaleta. As Tommy said, he's been brilliant for us. He's been superb. I'm just a bit concerned, a little bit worried. But anyway, Gonzo, is there anything you would like to add? But don't go away. There's important information coming up before I get Gonzo's final thoughts. We've got a lot of questions. So rather than just ignoring you all, we're going to do a show tomorrow night. We would have kept going tonight, but we just don't have time. So we're going to do another show tomorrow night. It will be on the forum channel. The link is in the description. So I'll be 8:30ish maybe.
I'll make it. What I'll do is before I go to bed tonight, I'll put it in the description below. And if you are searching for it, I'll just call it Your Questions or something like that. And then you'll know it's an extension of what we're discussing here. And then you can give them all to Geo on Twitter or below. And then we can collate them and discuss it then. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. Leave your comments below if there is any more questions. Leave them below. If it's after Thursday night, it's on your screen right now. It'll be here somewhere. You can click on that. You'll go get all the rest of the questions. And one last thing we'd like to say is we normally do a charity event every year. Or I say event. We normally do something for charity every year. Earlier this season, we raised a little bit of cash for any old irons, which is the... How do you word this? I don't want to call it the old West Ham fans, but it sort of is the old OHP West.
Oh, Codgers.
Yeah, okay. There's all Codger West Ham fans. And Guy Richard on our boats did a run and he raised money for it. So we've sort of left it at that, but it's not enough. We normally do a bit more. So what we're doing is we're doing something in a couple of weeks, which more details a bit soon. I'm still organising it all. But all the money will be going to Isla Caton. So if anyone has prizes that they could offer for our raffle for Isla Caton, please get in touch with us through our email, hammerchat@gmail.com. We'll tell you details about what we're planning, etc. It's a little bit ambitious and it's a little bit crazy, but hey, when do we like to do things normal? Gonzo, any final thoughts from yourself before we disappear?
No, I look forward to seeing yourself and everybody that's tuned in tomorrow, mate.
Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. It helps the channel out. Subscribe if you're new around here. Leave your comments below and any questions for tomorrow night, leave them below as well. And we'll get through them. We've got quite a bit to get through. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you very much for joining us.